Did B. Simone just shatter her own image again? It started with a confession. Honest, raw, emotional. She sat behind the mic of her own podcast and admitted the unthinkable. She's broke. Not things are tight broke. Not cutting back broke. Real, hit the bottom, nitpicking at H&M broke. For someone who built her brand on boss talk, affirmations, and flashy energy, this shook fans to the core. And just when the dust could have settled, a clip surfaced. Her friend explaining how B. Simone reacted to her success with the emotional depth of a voicemail. Cold. Distant. Convicted. Enter Pretty V, a woman who's not just her friend, but a viral powerhouse in her own right. She takes to Instagram and TikTok spitting wisdom like a preacher in a velvet tracksuit. Only, it sounds like a sermon aimed directly at B. Simone's soul. So, what really went down between these two women? Was this just a moment of transparency gone wrong? Or did Pretty V just expose B. Simone in the most passive-aggressive way the internet has ever seen? Let's get into the receipts, the reactions, and the real damage this podcast episode caused. B. Simone sat behind the mic, looked into the camera, and dropped the bomb. I don't have it. She wasn't talking about inspiration, she was talking about money. She admitted to second-guessing every purchase, skipping Bloomingdale's for H&M, and just not being used to this version of her bank account. For someone whose image is rooted in manifestation, money, and millionaire mindset energy, this was like Beyoncé revealing she clips coupons. Fans didn't know how to react. Some praised her for being honest about her struggles. Others wondered, how is a multi-platform entrepreneur, podcast host, actress, and influencer suddenly broke? The transparency was supposed to be healing. Instead, it opened a floodgate of skepticism. And that wasn't even the messy part yet. The next clip that went viral was different. It was from that same podcast episode, but it wasn't about finances. It was about feelings. Her friend, clearly emotional, shared how she landed a major opportunity and called B. Simone to tell her. B's response? A dry, okay. That's it. No hype, no congratulations, just crickets. Later, B. Simone admitted she felt convicted by her own reaction. She said, I don't know what it is. I'm talking this out in real time. She denied jealousy, denied resentment, but she didn't deny that something was off. Viewers weren't buying it. Was this a rare moment of vulnerability? Or a glimpse at the competitive side of B. Simone that fans had suspected all along? The internet was split. But then Pretty V spoke up, and things got messier. While fans were still decoding the podcast, Pretty V dropped a TikTok that sounded like a church sermon and a shade parade all in one. The word of the day is, so what? So what if you're broke? So what if your friend got the audition? So what if you're mad? So what if your gift isn't being recognized? So what if your man cheated? So what if you have no friends? Every so what felt personal. Too personal. Too perfectly timed. People in the comments were like, oh, she's talking about B. Simone. Period. Some called it petty, others called it powerful. But no one called it random.
The word of the day is so what? So what if they don't like you? So what if they hating on you? So what if they mad at you? So what if you ain't got no friends no more? So what if you're gifted and your friend is gifter? So what if you didn't get the audition and your friend did? Be happy. So what if you're lying down with a man who say he love you and tomorrow he's cheating on you? You decided to stay there. So what? So what? So what? We gotta stop looking at the, oh, why am I in this place? And, what's happening to me and how, why people don't like and care. So what? That was your choice. You need to move on. You need to ask God for strength in this season and peace and the capacity to do his will and his way. So what? That you're broke. Go get you a job. So what that you got money? ask God to maintain that, because there's seasons where you're up and you're down, you're here and you high and you low. So what if you got some haters? So what that you're creative? So what that you're mad? So what that you're happy? We got to stop caring about the noise that continues to target you. You just got to be you and do you and walk into your destiny and walk into your purpose. And whatever good that's out there will be a magnet to you. But so what if you flop? So what? So what? That's the word of the day today is so what? Get out your head and continue to be who God called you to be. Because I'm going to be who God called.
If the podcast was B. Simone's confession, the viral clips were the evidence. One friend opened up about how she watched B. Simone give and give to strangers, to family, to everyone, but never to her. While she was jobless, a single mom staying with her parents, getting her car repossessed, and applying for Medicaid, B. Simone was cutting checks for divorces and buying houses for others. That friend didn't ask for a handout, but she couldn't ignore the pain of being overlooked. And viewers couldn't ignore the hypocrisy. If your own day one is going through hell and you're buying blessings for outsiders, what does that say about who you really are? Then came the story that crushed everyone's heart. Another friend described losing her grandmother, and B. Simone offering support, verbally. Let me know if you want me to come over, bring flowers, whatever you need. But in moments of grief, people don't want offers. They want presents. They want someone to just show up. The friend admitted she felt weird asking, that she didn't want options, she wanted action. It was a small moment, but it spoke volumes. Real friends don't wait for invitations to care, they just do. Let's go back to Pretty V. Her So What video was delivered with passion, poise, and conviction. But make no mistake, it cut deep. She didn't name names, she didn't have to. She talked about being broke, about having no friends, about being overshadowed, about rejection, about haters. It was all there. The vibe, pick yourself up, stop wallowing, stop comparing, and stop begging for attention you didn't earn. Was this her way of loving B. Simone toughly? Or was this her way of saying, you're not the victim here? In today's influencer age, vulnerability is content. Transparency becomes strategy. But sometimes it can destroy more than it heals. That's what fans are now saying about B. Simone. Her honesty was meant to be relatable, but instead, it came off self-centered, narcissistic, even exploitative. Some say she weaponized her pain for sympathy while her friends were quietly hurting worse, with no support. And others feel like, if you're gonna be real all the way, not selectively. B. Simone was once untouchable. The growth of vision boards, the loud laugh, and the million-dollar energy. Now, that shine is looking a little dull. Fans say she's been slowly losing support for years. From plagiarism accusations to awkward interviews and tone-deaf moments, the podcast was just the final straw. And the worst part? The audience she's losing the fastest is the one she used to represent best. Black women. They're the ones saying, this ain't it. And in a world where authenticity is currency, that kind of loss is hard to recover from. It wasn't just about the money, or even the grief. For some of B. Simone's friends, it was about the silence, the way she'd show up online for strangers, celebrating random influencers, reposting celebrity birthdays, cheering viral moments, but barely acknowledging the people who knew her before the fame. One friend said, "You are reposting strangers' wins while ignoring mine. I was doing the most with the least, and you didn't say a word." It struck a nerve. In a world where support is one click away, the absence of acknowledgement feels personal. Fans called it emotional negligence. They said, this isn't just B. Simone being distracted, this is B. Simone being performative. If you can clap for the whole world, but you go silent when your friend wins, was the love ever real? Then came the conversation no one could ignore: reciprocity. Multiple friends hinted that their entire relationship with B. Simone felt one-sided. They were there when she cried. They were there when she launched her business. dropped her comedy tour, missed a man, needed affirmation, or had no clue what to do next. But when it came time for them to need her, the energy was gone. It wasn't hate, it wasn't malice, but it was neglect. A quiet pattern of showing up for B, but never being seen by her in return. And that's when the audience realized this wasn't just a falling out. It was a build-up, a slow erosion of sisterhood masked in fake laughs and Instagram filters. And when friends start realizing they're just background characters in your main character life, they don't stay friends for long. So where do we go from here? Is B. Simone being unfairly dragged for being honest? Or did her truth reveal something she didn't want us to see? Was Pretty V calling her out? Or calling her higher? And more importantly, can a friendship survive when one person feels unseen, unsupported, and silenced? This isn't just about podcast drama. It's about pride, jealousy, silence, and what happens when real-life pain meets public platforms. Let me know in the comments, whose side are you on? Is Pretty V keeping it real? Or is B. Simone the one being misunderstood? Because when friendships break in public, we all end up watching the fallout.